49 through 54, and this is a bit more of an ordeal, okay, is look at something like this, whereas before I covered up the outside and said, let's find g of -4. Here I'm actually going to ignore the inside for a moment, because what I need to do is I need to go get equation k. Now equation k is this guy right here, and I'm going to kind of keep something covering that for just a moment, because, this one, because that's going to say, I know I'm taking k of something. And so if I understand that my k equation is this, then I've got an 8 minus 2 times something. Can we all agree that an unknown can be represented by an x, but it could also be represented by a vacant kind of space? So that's the way we want to look at a problem like this to begin with, okay? So then what do you do? Well, it says f of x should go in there. Well, I could put an f of x in, and that would add a step, but it's not entirely necessary. What does f of x represent? Well, it represents that equation. So let's put that equation, f of x, inside the parentheses that I've replaced my x with. So this is really a 3x squared minus 2. I plopped the whole equation in there. Notice there's no x there anymore. Oh, there's this one. But there's no x next to the 2 like we saw here, because I replaced it with the entire equation. It's a plug-in. It's not a multiply by. Okay, and it's important that we're clear on that. So now don't forget, you're distributing a -2 to both of these. That negative has to go throughout. So this 8 is unaffected. Minus 6x squared. Negative times a negative is a plus 16. So however you want to write this, it's a negative 6x squared, the x squared term first, plus 24. Your answer is going to be an equation here, whereas it was a number there. We'll do one more just for the sake of doing it. It's going to be a bit of a piece of work, I think, to plug in equations for this. Well, I'll start that one, and then I actually think I'll do one more. I'll do 52. So let me start this one for you. You got 4 times something squared, which is what we see here. We're looking at the h equation. Minus 2 times something else, and then plus 6. Okay, the something you're putting in is that 1/2 squared, or 1/2 x. But you're squaring them both. You're putting g of x, 1/2 x. Okay, we'll just keep going. This is, you got to square this first. So let's do it. You square that, and you end up with 4 times 1/4, square the top, square the bottom, x squared. So you still got to distribute that, but this one we can do. 2 times 1/2 is 1, but it's going to be a negative. So I got a negative 1x. 6 is unaffected. But now that I've squared this thing, and the square is on the inside applying to the x and also to the 1/2, that's now 1/4. 1/4 of 4 is equal to 1, so I've got an x squared minus 1x plus 6, and that's my equation that should go right there. And I wanted to kind of look at, I believe it was this one here, f of k of x. Okay, so if we're doing f of k of x, and I want to make sure that I understand how this process works. F of means we're going here. So 3 times something squared minus 2. What's the something? Dramatic pause. 8 minus 2x. Now I see my people all the time. They'll try and square this, and they'll call that a 64 and that a negative, 4x squared or something like that, or even a positive 4x squared. Neither one of those is right. If you're squaring a binomial, you'll have to FOIL it. So that means 3 times 8 minus 2x and another 8 minus 2x. And then I got the minus 2 at the end. Okay, now you got to kind of put blinders on and take care of business where you can take care of it. That right there is what I can do at this juncture. And I'm going to go ahead and FOIL that right here in the midst as I'm covering up everything else. The first terms gave me a 64. The outer terms gave me a minus 16x, and the inner terms another negative 16x. Lastly, a positive 4x squared. Now don't forget, we got our blinders on, but there's still a set of parentheses, a 3 out here, a minus 2 out there. There's one step that you really can't do without, and that is the combined like terms, but you can also flip this thing around, and I kind of like to do that, especially x squared is positive now. Minus 32x plus 64. Now all that noise still needs to be multiplied by 3, and then you still need to subtract 2 from the end of it. Okay, so we start out, we've got this 3 times that is 3 times 4x is 12x squared, and 32 times 3 is equal to 96. So we got a minus 96 x squared, or x, and then plus 64 times 3, which is 192. But we got to minus the 2. So I distributed the 3 to each of those. These are the numbers I got. Subtract the 2. The final answer that I'm going to have here then is 12x squared. Is that the right one that I just did there? No, there it is. Sorry. Just kidding. This is going to be 12x squared minus 96x and then plus 190. All right. Thanks for coming. Enjoy your Tuesday. Happy birthday, Jackson.